Hello everyone, welcome to chapter 232 on my RLDR Custom Creations YouTube channel. It is the weekend edition. In fact, it is the Easter weekend edition. So I'm sitting on a stack of cabinet gable ends and some bottom shelving here, but that is not what today's video is going to be about. Today's video is about something I bought that I probably shouldn't have. So if you want to see what that's all about, all you need to do is stay tuned. Well, yes, last week I was cruising through Facebook Marketplace and I found something I debated for a while, quite a while, and it just wouldn't go away. So finally I pulled the trigger. And this is what I bought. Another scroll saw. So now that makes four. I've really come to appreciate the scroll saw lately. I've been doing more and more research. And yes, I did teach scroll saw for 30 years at the school system. But we tended to not use the full capabilities of the saw. We were doing relatively simple entry-level projects. The blade choices and stuff that I made were very generic because things had to be tough, because when you leave grade 7s on a scroll saw unsupervised, which often I had to because there were other groups in the shop working, the blades needed to be tough, and that sometimes means they didn't cut as good as what was available. Let's put it that way. So anyway, back to this purchase. I bought this, it's a Delta, what is it? Okay, I found it here, 40-690 scroll saw. Now, for those of you that know a little bit about scroll saws, you'll realize, boy, that looks a lot like a DeWalt DW788. And it is. It's the same saw, only the Delta version. And quite frankly, till I saw this one on Marketplace, I had never seen a saw like this. So that was quite interesting. And you know, it matches the gray of the rest of mine. That was really important. But it was one of those things I decided that, okay, I saw it and I was interested. And I thought, okay, if it's there on Thursday, then I'll get in touch with them and buy it. And I did that a couple of times, and finally one day I was just a little frustrated. I just went and looked at it and messaged the owner, and we agreed on price, and the next day I went and picked it up. So I had a really great chat with the former owner of this saw. Really, really nice guy. Does some awesome woodworking, was showing me a bunch of pictures of projects that he had made and was doing excellent work. And I felt kind of bad for him because by the sounds of it, he bought this scroll saw used and he managed to cut, I don't know, 4 or 5 little projects with it, like an afternoon's worth of cutting. And then he started having trouble with it. So this is basically a basket case. Power delivery. So, well, he started simple, like I would have done. I think as we talked, I think I would have followed very similar troubleshooting procedures that he did. Started with the switch and then the speed controller. And then he got serious. The motherboard is new, and I know that because I have the old one here. And the next thing on the line is the motor, and that's where he jumped off the ship. And I kind of don't blame him, because if I have to buy a new motor for this saw, well, I don't know if it's really worth it. But I'm gambling that this one can be fixed. I have a couple of friends who are pretty good with electronics, so we'll see what can be done. And but yeah, I bought another one, and hopefully we're going to be able to get this running properly. But as far as the scroll saw goes, my intention is to start running classes, as I stated. I already do this with my younger groups, my grade 6s and grade 7s. But with 3 scroll saws, I was kind of limited to 3 students. Now last year I had one fellow here that had his own scroll saw, and he brought it to the shop here. and I assured him that he would be the only one using it, and he used his saw while he was here, and then I had 3 other people on these saws. But at that time I didn't have stands for them, and we had them on this table here, and that was awkward. And I'm really, really happy with the 2 stands that I built. I think they're going to be really well. They're nice and sturdy, nice and stable, and that's what you want in a scroll saw stand. So in the end, okay, we're going to talk money a little bit, and you're probably going to tell me, and I don't blame you, that maybe I paid too much. But first of all, he was asking $100 for it, which if I was asking, I would have probably done the same, because he already invested in a motherboard, switch, rheostat. You know, yeah, he paid some money. He had some money in this thing, even just new parts. He probably didn't get that out of it. But so then kind of my Mennonite heritage takes over, and I need to get things as cheap as possible. So I wrote a message to him and I said, I am so sorry. I don't mean to lowball you or be insulting, but I'd give you $50 for it. And then he promptly replied and said, well, how about 75? And you know, I thought, you know, we're going to quibble over 25 bucks. Like, no, I don't think so. So I said, yeah, but I want to come look at it before I commit. So, and then I went and talked with him, and like I said, top-notch guy, wonderful to deal with. I had no worries about any surprises as I got this scroll saw home. And I'm quite confident that if I have any surprises, that they would have also been surprises for him, because I really got the feeling that what I heard from him was the honest truth, which is very much appreciated when you're dealing in used equipment. So I have a couple of friends who are pretty good with electric motors and things like that. So the goal for this thing is, first of all, I'm going to take everything apart and go through it. I was watching video from the Gwinnett Woodworking Club in, that's Gwinnett County, North Carolina, South Carolina, something like that. The video that I watched about disassembling and troubleshooting DeWalt DW788, which I said is the same saw as this, they do a whole series of taking this saw apart and putting new bushings in if necessary, re-greasing. They have an awesome guild with an awesome YouTube channel. Some of their presenters it's just all top notch, and it's all professionally shot by the looks of things. So they spend a bit of time. Now, they don't always put out as many videos because I went and looked at their list, but the ones they have, I've really appreciated. I've watched a few of them. So that's a good place to go if you're looking for information about repairing or fixing, especially the DeWalt DW788, which is a very, very popular saw. Now, my understanding of the DeWalt DW788 is that it's basically a saw derived from the Excalibur models of the day. This would have been in the 90s. And we had 2 of them at the school, and they are very, very good saws. These little saws here, they're okay for students. They're 16-inch, this one's 20. And the one thing that I really, really like about this saw as compared to these is for changing blades and doing piercing cuts. This one, the arm lifts up really nicely. So you can leave the blade in the bottom, slide your piece on, put the arm down. What I do with kids when I was teaching is I'd come and change the plate, or pardon me, I'd handle the blade for them, you know, if they were piercing cuts or whatever. And what I get them to do is I get them to hold up the arm like this. I do all the blade connecting, they'd drop it down, I'd finish tightening, tensioning, and away we'd go. But you can get a bracket, an aftermarket part, that you can lift this up and lock it. So I think we're going to be looking into that, maybe buying it or possibly making it. So anyway, yeah, the way I think about it, because I have to justify this in my own mind because I didn't want to pay more than $50. So the twisted rationale that I came up with is, I gave the gentleman $50 for the saw and $25 for the stand. There we go. So I got my saw for $50. But anyway, so what I'll do as I go through this is I will definitely keep you in the loop. I'm not really, I don't consider myself a fixer. I'm more of a maker. And but you know what? When it comes to tools like this, I like the challenge of resurrecting something, and this will look really nice in my row of scroll saws when we get there. Boy, then maybe I should look for one more and have 5, and then I could have a complete class set without having a student having to bring their saw. I don't know. I don't really have room. But if you're getting kids to start woodworking, I would say there are 2 tools that are the best to do it. I still think the lathe is probably the best, but a very, very close second is a scroll saw. With those 2 tools, you can start a program and you can get kids. I have grade 6s running these scroll saws and turning at the lathes. And you know what? The projects can just get more and more complex, and students can get older, and even if you had students that are young adults or whatever, there's all kinds of complicated stuff you can do with this saw, and this saw will do the really, really basic and the really, really complex. Same with turning. So if you're going to invest in tools for the grandkids or somebody that you want to have learn woodworking, a lathe and a scroll saw will get you a long way, unless you've got 5 students. So anyway, with that in mind, I think I've told you about all I can of this thing. I'm looking forward to getting into it. It'll probably not be this next week because I've got other things to do. You saw those cabinet parts there. I got to get on that. And basically, I will get to it and I will keep you in the loop. Whether I show you everything we do, because there is already a lot of good content online that you can look at, but I will keep you in the loop for sure. So anyway, with that in mind, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching and subscribing if you've already done that. I really appreciate it. And have a very, very nice Easter weekend. We'll see you middle of next week.